Assalamualaikum. My name is Aimi Safa binti Ahmad Zisri and my matrix number is 10DPM20F1020.
My name is Calvin Wongington and my number matrix is 10DPM20F1039.
Hi and Assalamualaikum madam. My name is Sujara Amira binti Sheikh Ibrahim and my matric number is 10DPM20F1042.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Cik Aimi Shamimi binti Cik Mazuki and my matrix number is 10DPM20F1003.
First and foremost, canteen is a very important facility for the students, through which a better standard of food and drinks can be obtained, not just by the students but as the focus place for the lecturers and staff to be having their lunch. In addition, through the whole, some food and drinks can be provided to the students at reasonable and cheap prices so as to make available to get them their meals. Canteen also serve as place where students can meet informally and be having a relaxing conversation. In this content, my friend and I held an investigation about our Polytechnic Seberang Perai canteen requirement tend to be improved or not. Of responded by students in Seberang Perai Polytechnic, that is PSP. The pie chart is divided into two segments, which are male and female in Seberang Perai Polytechnic. In general, slightly more than a half of students are male, which is 62% of students, while nearly a third of students are female, which is 38% of students. In conclusion, most of the students who are responded for an investigation of Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteens are male.
The bar graph above shows the number of students according to each semester. Y-axis represents semester of students, while the x-axis represents the number of students. There are 6 types of semester stated in the graph, which are started from semester 1, semester 2, semester 3, semester 4, semester 5, and semester 6. In general, semester 3 was the highest number of students who responded the most for an investigation of Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen and accounted for 42 students in total. Meanwhile, the semester 4 recorded 5 respondents and it was the second highest group, which were fractionally higher than semester 6 by 3 respondents. Moreover, semester 2 marginally higher than semester 1, which is semester 2 have 2 respondents and semester 1 only has 1 respondent. However, semester 5 has no respondent. In conclusion, the majority of students who responded to an investigation of the Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen were students from semester 3. The bar chart above shows the number of students according to each department. Y-axis represents the number of students, while the x-axis represents departments. There are 4 types of main groups stated in the graph, which are Commerce Department, Information and Communication Technology Department, Electrical Engineering Department, and Mechanical Engineering Department in Seberang Perai Polytechnic. In general, the highest number of students in each department was Mechanical Engineering. The Mechanical Engineering was marginally higher than the Commerce Department, which comprised 24 students. Meanwhile, Commerce Department recorded 21 students and it was the second highest group, which was slightly higher than Information and Communication Technology and also Electrical Engineering. The lowest number of students of departments was Information and Communication Technology and Electrical Engineering, which only comprised of 4 students. In conclusions, majority of the students who was respond the questionnaire was come from Mechanical Engineering in Seberang Perai Polytechnic.
The pie chart above shows the students' concerned with the food price equation in the Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen. The pie chart is divided into 2 segments, which are yes or no for the reasonable food price at the PSP canteen. In general, more than 3/4 of students agree with the price of food in the canteen compared to those who disagree. That is, 79% of students agree with the price of food in the canteen, while 21% of students do not agree with the price of the food in the canteen. In conclusion, most of students agree with the food price at the PSP canteen.
The bar graph above shows the number of students according to the daily expenses for food expenditure at Seberang Perai Polytechnic. Y-axis represents the number of students, while the x-axis represents the daily expenses. There are three types of daily expenses stated in the graph, which are set from 5 ringgit until 10 ringgit, 10 ringgit until 12 ringgit, and 12 ringgit until 15 ringgit. In general, the lowest daily expenses for food expenditure was 12 ringgit until 15 ringgit, which only comprised of 7 students. Besides, the daily expenses of 10 ringgit until 12 ringgit significantly lower than the daily expenses of 5 ringgit until 10 ringgit, which only 11 students. In conclusion, majority of the students spend 5 ringgit until 10 ringgit for daily expenses at the PSP canteen and accounted for 35 students in total.
The bar graph above shows that the times student going to PSP canteen in a week. We can see that y-axis represent number of students, while x-axis represent times in a week. The number of students go to PSP canteen every day is drastically higher than the number of students go to the canteen 1 to 2 times in a week. That is 33 students go to PSP canteen every day and 9 students go to PSP canteen 1 to 2 times in a week. Next, we can see that the number of students go to PSP canteen 3 to 5 times in a week is marginally higher than number of students go to PSP canteen 1 to 2 times in a week. That is 10 students go to PSP canteen 3 to 5 times in a week and 9 students go to PSP canteen 1 to 2 times in a week. In conclusion, the number of students go to PSP canteen every day is the highest, and the number of students who never go to PSP canteen is in a week is 0.
Next, the pie chart illustrates the canteen satisfaction with the food hygiene at Seberang Perai Polytechnic. The pie chart is divided into two segments, which are yes or no for the satisfaction with the food hygiene at the PSP canteen. The biggest segment was chosen by the students was yes satisfaction for food hygiene in the PSP canteen, which comprised of slightly more than 2/3 of total students, which is 72% of students. Meanwhile, the smallest segment was chosen by the students was no satisfaction, which comprised less than a quarter of total students. In conclusion, most of the students choose yes for PSP canteen satisfaction with the food hygiene.
Budget includes adding more variety food at the Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen. The budget is divided into two segments, which are yes or no. For the adding more variety food at the PSP canteen, the biggest segment was chosen by students was yes for adding more variety food at PSP canteen, which comprised of more than majority of total students. Meanwhile, the smallest segment was chosen by students was not no adding more variety food, which comprising nearly a tenth of total students. To sum up, most of the students chose yes for adding more variety food for the PSP canteen. And this pie chart illustrates the service satisfaction provided by the Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen worker. The pie chart is divided into two segments, same as last one. It is yes or no for the service satisfaction provided by the canteen worker in PSP canteen. The biggest segment was chosen by the student was yes satisfaction for the service provided by the PSP canteen worker, which comprised of over majority of total students. Meanwhile, the smallest segment was chosen by student was no satisfaction, which comprised slightly more than a tenth of total students. To sum up, most of the students chose yes for the service satisfaction provided by the PSP canteen worker. And for this pie chart illustrate the agreement if there will be a convenient store at the Seberang Perai Polytechnic canteen. The pie chart is divided into two segments, which are yes or no for illustrate the agreement if there will be a convenient store at the PSP canteen. The biggest segment was chosen by the student was yes for the illustrate the agreement if there will be a convenient store at the PSP canteen which comprise of more than majority of total student. Meanwhile, the smallest segment was chosen by the student was not agreement which comprise less than a tenth of total student. To sum up, most of the students choose yes for the agreement if there will be a convenient store at the PSP canteen.
The bar chart above shows the number of students according to the satisfaction of the cleanliness at Polytechnic Seberang Perai Canteen PSP. Y-axis represents the number of students while the x-axis represents the types of satisfaction. There are three types of main satisfaction stated in the graph, which are satisfied, average, and unsatisfied. To understand the satisfaction of the cleanliness at PSP Canteen, 26 out of 52 students choose satisfied with recorded as the highest number among all, which was marginally higher than recorded in average, with only 24 students unsatisfied recorded as the least satisfaction with the cleanliness at the PSP canteen, with only 2 students left. In conclusion, majority of the students choose satisfied with the satisfaction of the cleanliness at the PSP canteen. The bar chart above shows the number of students according to the agreement if the facilities at the Polytechnic Seberang Perai PSP canteen must be increased. Y-axis represents the number of students, while the x-axis represents the types of agreement. There are 4 stages of agreement stated in the graph, which are agree, disagree, strongly agree, and strongly disagree. In general, most of the students agree if the facilities at the PSP canteen must be increased, and accounted for 32 in total of 52 students. Meanwhile, as the second highest accumulated with 17 of them choose strongly agree, recorded was drastically higher than what was recorded with strongly disagree, with only 2 students. The lowest recorded with 1 disagree if the facilities at the PSP canteen must be increased. In conclusion, majority of the students agree for the agreement if the facilities at the PSP canteen must be increased. The bar chart above shows the opinion about the canteen ambience. Y-axis represents number of students, while x-axis shows type of opinion. There are 4 types of opinion, which are poor, fair, good, and lastly excellent. To illustrate the bar chart, the highest opinion that was recorded is good for 38 students chose for it. Meanwhile, fair opinion recorded with 7 students, it was the second highest group, which was fractionally higher than students who chose with excellent opinion, which recorded only 6 students. The lowest number of opinion recorded was poor, with only 1 student was recorded. In conclusion, majority of the students choose good with their most opinion about the canteen ambience.
In the conclusion, based on the analysis that has been made on students in PSP, canteen is an important component of school and corporate organization, and the food environment can affect people eating and dietary practice. A canteen will reflect the education goals of the PSP and support and complement student learning. Besides, canteen is a place where everyone at PSP are going to take their meals. Most of the students are satisfied with the canteen ambience. Rather than that, most of the students, as they should be extra careful on spending their money because they are going to use it on elsewhere for education purpose. Also, prices are reasonable for them. If they are happy and satisfied with the canteen, it will support education thinking for themselves. Canteen hygiene is still need to be taken care about to avoid unwanted caries such as diarrhea. Moreover, the recommendation for the canteen to improve satisfaction students is the management may keep the consistency and reliability of perceived service quality by increasing the capability of employee through training and a shared understanding. Next, the PSP management can also make a canteen hygiene contest so that the all canteen employees work hard for the sake of reward and also build disciplined employees who are at customer. Lastly, the canteen worker need to diversify the food such as adding variety of kueh muih in morning as breakfast for students, lecturers and staff at Seberang Perai Polytechnic.